this is Michelle here for the Alleyway Stamps. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a card using the stamp set called Castaways. And this just has a bunch of water creatures, and today I'm just going to be using the seal. So normally if I have a stamp set that has a bunch of matching SVG files, I go ahead and cut those out of white cardstock so they're ready to go when I'm ready to create. And most of the Alleyway stamp sets have SVG files like that, so you should go ahead and check that out if you have a die cutting machine. So I'm just inking this up with some black ink. This is Hero Arts dye ink. And I'm just going to be doing some simple color pencil coloring today, so I don't have to use any special inks that are good with Copic markers or anything like that. And I like this black ink because it stamps really nice and solid. So I just went ahead and cleaned off my stamp with a baby wipe. And then I pulled out some color pencils. These are just plain color pencils. They're nothing fancy, and I'm just pulling out 3 colors. Since this is a seal, it's just very simple gray coloring. And I also pulled out a blue just to have some cooler undertones to the gray. So I'm just going to go ahead and really quickly color that in. I'm just starting with the lighter gray to cover up most of the areas, and then going in with the darker gray to just do some of the shadows, and then afterwards going in with the blue and gray again just to give it a little bit more of a blue tint. So that's really quick and easy just to color that in. And I have a card base here that's slightly skinnier than a normal card base, so I think it's cut to about 3 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I have this glitter tag that I created last week on my blog. It's a DIY glitter tag using stencils and some Mod Podge or glossy accents, and I'll link you to this video on the top in case you want to check out how I made that tag. And then I pulled out another stamp set from the Alleyway Stamps where I'm going to be using 2 of the images that I've already taken out. One of them is a sentiment that says "Today is your day," and I just thought it was the perfect size just to fit in the corner of this tag. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up with the same black ink that I used before. And then I pulled out another image which is kind of like little pebbles, I think they're supposed to be, but I think they look like bubbles, which I think will be perfect for this seal since it's kind of like a water kind of creature. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp this a few times around my sentiment so that it kind of looks like bubbles around there. And this is again using the same Hero Arts black ink. So this tag will be a good little place to put my seal on top of, but before I put that on the card base, I want to build up some layers behind this. So I pulled out some pattern paper from, I believe this is from Crate Paper, and it's an older collection, but you can just really use whatever papers you want. I just wanted to build up some layers, so I chose these 2 papers that are very neutral. And I'm going to create kind of a distressed look here. So what I'm going to do is run the edges of my paper with my scissor. And there are actually tools to distress your papers like this, but since I don't have that, a scissor works just as well. You just want to be a little careful, of course, since it is a blade. So when you run that over, it just basically tears up the paper a little bit, but not too much. So it kind of just gives it a perfectly distressed look, so it looks kind of aged, and I think this will help the layers just stick up a little bit more. So I went ahead and did that to both of the papers, and each of these papers is sized to about 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch smaller than the one underneath it. And all of these little bits of paper got onto my desk, so I just used a lint roller to pick all of those little bits up, and that just cleans up your area really easily. So now I'm going to tape down these layers. The first one I'm going to adhere exactly centered on the card base. And then I'm adhering the little seal colored die cut flat onto this tag. And then later on I'm going to pop this tag on some foam squares so that it's just popping up off the layers a little bit more. Then for the top rectangle layer, I just want to offset it a little bit. So I'm trying to decide which way I want to angle it, and then once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and tape that down as well. So now I have everything adhered. On my tag I've put some foam squares, but I haven't taken taken the backing off of it yet. So I just pulled out some embroidery floss for now to thread my tag with. I have a teal one and a gray one, which I think matches perfectly with the tag and the seal. So I'm threading both of them at the same time just to give the thread a little more presence on the card. And I just want to position it so that it goes slightly under the tag and then off of the card, and I'm just going to trim the ends a little bit. And I want to make them a little uneven so it doesn't look so perfect and straight. And then once I kind of have the general idea of how I want that to go, I can go ahead and take off all the adhesive off of the foam squares that I've put on the back. And once I adhere this down, just to make sure the floss stays exactly the way I wanted, I also took out some liquid adhesive. This is the matte adhesive that I use a lot to just glue down little things like sequins. And I'm just taking some scrap cardstock and picking up some of that glue to put under part of the string so that it stays in place. And that pretty much finishes off the card. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll show you some close-up photos of the card as well here. You can see the glitter tag is really sparkly and pretty, and I think even though I just used one simple image, it really pops out because I use a smaller format for my card. On screen here, I have a couple of videos to link you to. The first one shows you how I actually made that glitter tag. That's kind of the focus of the card, so if you want to go ahead and check that out, you can watch that tutorial. And then I also have 2 older videos that I've made for the alleyway stamps, so go ahead and check those out if you haven't watched them yet. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the Alleyway Stamps or my YouTube channel, and you can find all of the information about the supplies I used on the blogs listed below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.